guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm sorry for the hiatus. My husband and I were gone to New York for a weekend, and then I had to work my other job for a weekend. If you're not familiar, I also work in a lab, a medical lab. I'm a medical technologist, so I had to do that, and the weekends is when I do most of my filming. So now I'm filming in the middle of the week at night, so if the lighting is not great, that's why. But today I wanted to do a video on Be Our Guest. I've had a request for this, and it is a super popular restaurant, so I thought I would fill you in. Now, Be Our Guest restaurant is located in New Fantasyland in the Magic Kingdom, and it is themed after Beast's Castle, or it is Beast's Castle, from Beauty and the Beast. They serve breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I have eaten there for lunch and dinner. We tell our clients you need to have a reservation to eat there. For a while, they were not accepting walk-ups due to the popularity of the restaurant. I don't know if they are actually offering walk-ups. Because you can book your reservations on My Disney Experience and you can check them at any check availability at any time, I would never, ever count on being able to walk up and get a table, even if they are technically allowing them. That's only if availability permits. That being said, it is quite possibly the first restaurant to be fully booked at the 180-day reservation point. It is the only restaurant where you need to make reservations for quick service as well, and I'll get to that in a minute. But if you are booking less than 180 days in advance and nothing is available, keep checking. My sister just went to Disney World in September, and on the Magical Express bus from the airport to her hotel, something had opened up for Be Our Guest. So things do change all the time. People forget to cancel their dining reservations, and then they get an email about them, if they cancel their trip, and then they get an email about them, and then they go in and cancel, because if you don't show, then you get charged a fee on your credit card if you don't cancel at least 24 hours in advance. So keep checking. It was just her and her husband, so with just two people, you have a better chance of finding availability than if you're going with like a group of 5 or 6. But speaking if you're booking kind of last minute like that, but definitely still check. If it is high on your priority list to eat there, then I would say you need to book at least 6 months prior. Now, why I say at least 6 months prior is because at 180 days, 6 months is when you can first book your dining reservation. But the second you have your trip booked, you might not necessarily go in and make your dining reservation. So I'd give yourself a couple of extra days for a buffer to make your park plan and look at the park hours and see what you're going to do and when. So if you're staying on property, I say 180 days. So if you're staying on property, you can make your dining reservations for your trip, as long as your trip is, I think it's less than 14 days, 10 days. If it's a reasonable, a normal length trip, most people stay, I would say, between 6 and 8 days, then you can make your dining reservations for your entire trip at 180 days out. If you're staying off property, you can make your dining reservation 180 days out, but only for that day. Every day you'd have to go in and make for like the next day, if that makes sense. Okay, so Be Our Guest specifically. For breakfast and lunch, it is a quick service restaurant. And what that means is it's more similar to fast food, but it's kind of a hybrid, I think. It's like if you've been to Casey's Corner, for example, the hot dog restaurant on Main Street in the Magic Kingdom. That is more what I think of when I think of quick service and fast food. You go up and order at a register, you hand them their money, they hand you your food on a tray, and then you leave. So at Be Our Guest, what you do is you enter in through like these amazing, enormous doors, and you go in, and then they have these touch screen kiosks, and that is where you will order your food. Now, that is if you're paying with Magic Band, and they might take a credit card there too. If you're paying with cash, or if you need assistance, they have a cast member that you can do that with as well. But if you're paying with your Magic Band, you're going to, or if you have a dining plan, then you're going to use the kiosks, and then you can order on the kiosks. And they actually Once you make your order, it lets you go in and make substitutions. So you don't need to speak to a cast member to make substitutions. I've done it before. It works great. Once you do that and you sit down and you can get your own drinks, they have like a typical fountain drink station. And you can choose each of the whatever of the 3 rooms that you want to sit in. This is for breakfast and lunch. And then they bring your food out to you at your table. And there are 3 rooms. Okay. So they have the grand ballroom that's right in the middle. That's the largest one. They have the West Wing. It's darker, and I don't know. That one might be my favorite. They're all cool. But the West Wing has the picture of the Beast as he was a prince, and he has like a canvas hanging over it with, you can see where when he turned into a beast, he like slashed it open. And when it thunders, the painting changes into the Beast for a second, and then it goes back. It's pretty cool. And that's where the Enchanted Rose is as well. And the Grand Ballroom, it's kind of cool because on the back wall, they have snowflakes falling outside. And we were told by our cast member waiter that is the actual projection from the movie. It's like the exact same. And it's also really cool in the Grand Ballroom because if you look on the ceiling, they have pictures of like, are they angels, cherubs, babies? I'm not exactly sure. But they're pictures of the Imagineers who worked on building the castle and creating the castle as children. So that's kind of neat. And then the 3rd room is the castle gallery. I never knew what that was called, but it says, get swept up in the romance of Belle's private library. So that's kind of cool too. They have it's like a big music box of Belle and Beast, and it turns. So yeah, 3 very different rooms, but you can pick whichever one you want to sit in. Like I said, breakfast and lunch, it is definitely more expensive than the average quick service restaurant. Now I brought up the menus. Like I said, I've eaten there for lunch and dinner. Now, if you want to eat there for breakfast, they do allow you to go in before the park opens. You have to go, you can take a picture in front of the castle, but for the most part, you have to go straight to the restaurant. And they're checking. There's a cast member on the way to the restaurant to check and make sure you are on, like that you have a reservation, and then they'll let you through. If you don't, they're not going to let you through. You have to wait behind a rope. So for breakfast, I recommend just going to the Disney website and pulling up your guest restaurant so that you can see the different things they have. Now it's considered a French-inspired meal. I was gonna say it's like French food because the movie takes place in France. It's not French food. I mean, they might have some French things, but it's French-inspired. So it's definitely family-friendly in terms of food. I don't think you have to worry like, oh, is my kid gonna like it if they're a picky eater, French food? No. I think that wouldn't really be a concern. I was shocked how expensive breakfast is there, though. So the entrees for breakfast, for not the kids menu, are all $28. Scrambled egg whites is $28. It says scrambled egg whites with roasted tomatoes, chicken, apple sausage, fresh fruit, and a selection of pastries. So it is a little bit nicer too than the average quick service restaurant. It's not like you're going and getting an Egg McMuffin type of thing. So it is nicer, but it's pricier. So just take that into consideration when you are planning your meals. The kids' meals are $15. They have crepes, French toast, cereal, oatmeal, and again, scrambled eggs. So they have desserts for breakfast. That's fantastic. Anyway, they have a cupcake. Okay, so that's breakfast. Lunch, you do the same thing in terms of ordering and in terms of you pick your seat, they bring your food to you. So the food for lunch, I think, is more close. It's still a little bit pricier than the average quick service restaurant, depending on what you get. And again, I would recommend just checking the menu, but I think it's more closely aligned. So let's see, the cheapest, you can get soup for like $6 or $8. So the cheapest option for adults for lunch is $13, and the most expensive for lunch for adults is $17. So that's more closely aligned, I think, and more reasonably priced. I have gotten the French dip sandwich there before. I've gotten, I think, the carved turkey sandwich. Their green beans are fantastic, let me tell you. They have a lot of desserts for that. And then the kids menu is between, let's see. Oh, they're all $9 for the kids menu. They have turkey sandwich, whole grain macaroni, grilled cheese and turkey noodle soup, pork, grilled shrimp, Mickey meatloaf. Oh, they call their French fries, I don't know how you pronounce it. Pomme frite? I don't think you pronounce the S. I think it's pomme frite. So French for French fries. So that's authentic French right there. Okay, moving on to dinner. Oh, and I should say, because you seat yourself for breakfast and lunch, if you want to sit in the, like either the, what did I just say they were called? I can never remember them. The Grand Ballroom or the Castle Gallery, you can still go in and see the West Wing. You can walk through, that's not a problem. Okay, moving on to dinner. Dinner is table service. So I was really curious how they were going to kind of transform the restaurant. So obviously there's a period in between between lunch and dinner where you can't, they can't have any guests in there. So, you know, there's a break in terms of when you can get your dining reservation because they do kind of have to transform it a little bit. They have curtains that cover up the drink station so you don't see any of that. You don't go through and order your food on a kiosk. They bring you in. You usually have to wait outside until they call your name, and that's for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, but then they call you and they bring you inside. Now, I've been there when it is so weltering, waiting for lunch outside, and they will have ice water in paper cups out there for you, which I think is super nice. But for dinner, when they call your name and they bring you in, they see you at a table. They've never asked us which room we've wanted to sit in when we've eaten dinner. I'm sure we could request one, like at any restaurant, and they'll say if we have availability, we can put you there. But I think, you know, they have waiters that serve certain areas, so that would probably be super inconvenient for them. So I'm gonna say for dinner, they pick where you're gonna sit. But again, they've told us if you wanna go check out the West Wing, you can, and see the Enchanted Rose and stuff like that. So I should also say that I've been there, I wanna say once or twice, when they start playing very, very loud music, and like it was crazy, themed Beauty and the Beast music, and the Beast walks through, and then you can go and take pictures with him. But I've been there, I don't know, maybe half a dozen times, and he's only come through once or twice. So I'm not sure how often it happens. I wouldn't count on that, but it does happen. And he just walks through. He does not come to your table to harass you. So I don't think you have to worry about like kids being afraid of him. You can just not go see him if you want. I digress. So dinner. Dinner recently changed to a prefix 3-course menu. And let's see. So that means you will get, for one price, you get an entree, an appetizer, an entree, and a dessert. And it tells you choose one of the following. So you can go through and pick these things. So the prices for Be Our Guest dinner, 3-course dining experience is $60 for adults. Now, if you've watched my other videos, I have mentioned in terms of dining and tickets at Disney World, an adult is ages 10 and up. So that's a lot of money for a 10-year-old. Just so you're not surprised, $60 if you are 10 and up. If you're between the ages of 3 and 9, it is $36 per person. Now, if you have a child that is less than 3, if you want to purchase a meal, you can. I'm not sure if they would have an a la carte option in this case. You would have to ask, but they can certainly share off your plate. That's not a problem if they're under the age of 3. If you are on the dining plan, yes, they take the dining plan, but it requires 2 table service credits, like Cinderella's Royal Table. Requires 2 table service credits. So just account for that as well. And I just found this out. I did not know this, but I found this again from the Disney website. So you can consider adding an enchanting surprise. And they say, so they have 2 things. The first wish, it says, let me give you the Reader's Digest version. You can arrange for an exclusive first wish gift to be placed on your table prior to seating. You'll discover a pixie dusted rose and a silver charm bracelet enhanced with a Swarovski crystal wishing star. And the second thing is a My Disney fairy tale. Surprise your sweetheart with this extravagant personalized Disney fairy tale proclamation gifting experience. I wonder if there's a town crier involved. I think if there's a proclamation, you should have a town crier. That would be super embarrassing. Never do that for me if that's the case. Let's see. Surprise your sweetheart with this extravagant personalized Disney fairy tale proclamation gifting experience. Watch her eyes widen with delight when she walks up to her table to find these dazzling gifts awaiting her arrival. A sparkling tiara, light up crystal slipper, princess robe, and her very own personalized proclamation signed by her favorite fairy tale princess. Visit Disney Floral and Gifts to learn how you can set up this magical experience. Something to be said about that. So that's going through to set that up, you'd have to go through Disney Florists. Their other experiences are very expensive. So, I mean, very, very expensive. So don't get your hopes up. Check it out. So yeah, I think that's everything I have to say about Be Our Guest. All the news you can use, as they say. I hope you found this video helpful, enjoyable, something. Their food is good. I've definitely liked their food. What did I order? I ordered something with eggplant last time, and it was not good. But I hate eggplant, so that's totally my own fault. Like, I think they did a fine job. If you don't like something, don't order it. But, and they bring their food out of these little carts. I don't want to ruin it. So it is very cool. It's a very cool experience. If you don't, I think that the cheapest meal to eat there is lunch, and it's quick service. I don't think there's a lot different about dinner. It is only table service, and they have the fountain drink things covered up, and you don't have to order at a kiosk is the big difference. So take that with a grain of salt in terms of which meal is best. And like I said, I've not eaten breakfast there, but you can get in before the park opens if you want to. So I hope you enjoyed this video, as I said, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye, guys.